Hello, good evening, everybody, and a very warm welcome to our live talk here at Nekafla, the Center of Spiritist Studies Camille Flammarion in Brussels. Thank you all for tuning in, and today's a very special evening because we do have the pleasure of welcoming a very special guest. That's our dear friend Ingo Meyer from Munich. Before you have a chance to get to know Ingo and listen to his presentation, I would like to introduce him with a few words. Ingo has been studying the Spiritist teachings since 2013. He's heading the Spiritist Association Weg der Nächstenliebe e.V. in Munich, in Germany. Ingo is married, has 2 kids, and his profession is he's a graduate engineer of information technology. But above all, he is a friend, and I'm very happy to welcome Ingo this evening on behalf of Nekafla. Hello, Ingo. I'm trying not to put you here. Hi, Ingo.
Hi, Karin, and hello to everybody from Munich. I'm very happy to be here and very honored to do a presentation here for your group.
Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate that you can be with us this evening, that you're taking the time and taking us on this journey into the light, because that's the title of your presentation, Our Journey into the Light. And we're really looking forward to it, to learning from you. And I can see Alice is also online. Hi, Alice. Very good that you can be with us. And hello to everyone else as well. Before we start, would you mind, Ingo, telling us a bit about your group in Munich?
Yes, sure. So our group in Munich is called Weg der Nächstenliebe, which basically means path of charity, because we felt that charity is really at the heart of the Spiritist teaching and of the teaching Jesus has brought to us. And we really want to go this way, not only study the Spiritist teaching in this context, but also to practice and to give back what we understand what needs to be done. And through this, we are trying to find our way into the light.
That's very, very beautiful. I'm really happy to hear that. And I hope one day, when I'm back in Munich, to have the chance to get to know your group as well.
Yeah, I'm sure Corona is over very soon. You are welcome to join us any day.
Yeah, that would be really nice, and to see all the friends again. Okay. Yeah, but Corona also offers us the chance to come together on these platforms, which we had not done before that way. So it's also in a way a bit easier to invite friends and guests. So yeah, let's take this positive aspect and exchange that way, which is really a good way of really learning from one another, and you have a lot to offer from your studies to us, but I will stop talking because the presentation is here this evening. If everything's okay, we could start, and I would.
Sure. Then I go ahead and share my screen.
Perfect.
Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Now I can. I will. Oops.
And you should be able to see my slides as well.
I do. Very good. Then I will leave you the floor.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks a lot. And again, everybody, a warm welcome from my side. The topic I'm talking about today is our journey into the light. It's based on the Spiritist teaching. Well, when we talk about a journey, so what are the most important elements? It's the destination, first of all. And when we talk about destination, journey into the light, so what does it mean, into the light? Where is that? Or what is that? What kind of status? Well, and then we need a starting point. And if we are heading towards the light, the question is, are we in the dark? And the third topic is certainly, how do I get from A to B? So the way, how do I get there? And throughout my presentation, throughout the next 45 to 50 minutes, I'm trying to elaborate on this. But let me start with some basics. And the first topic I want to talk about is the power of our thoughts and feelings. And with that, I would like to introduce Masaru Emoto's water experiments. Masaru Emoto was a Japanese who lived from 1943 until 2014. And what he found out is that human vibrational energy, thoughts, words, ideas, influences the molecular structure of water. And the method he used, he took photomicrographs of the molecular structure of frozen water. And the result he could show is that healthy water forms a hexagonal crystal structure, while sick water does not. And pure spring water and water that has been treated with love, with loving thoughts, is healthy. Now, Masaru Emoto actually was not, when he looked into water, he was not really trying to find out exactly this topic. He was actually trying to look for the quality of water because drinking water is very scarce in Tokyo. But what he found out is really amazing. On the one side, it shows the ability of water to capture this kind of information. And in the Spiritist activities, we are using this. Consider fluidic water, for example. But the more important thing, and that's what I want to, why I mention it and what I want to come to now, is that the thinking, our feelings, there's an energy attached to it. And while he could capture it, Masaru has proven that there is energy, first of all. When we look today in medicine and science about the power of thoughts, there are a number of topics and projects related to this. First of all, psychothematics. This is about the unconscious effects of thoughts and feelings on our body and health. You probably have heard about quantum healing. This is about the healing power of our thoughts. And one of the book is from the German Dr. Med Lothar Hollerbach, for example, where he explains how he uses healing power of thoughts in his practice. Then there are a number of projects, many of them in the US, like in the Institute of Noetic Science. There's a project called Global Consciousness Project. It's to study changes in group consciousness. And it was founded by the Apollo 14 astronaut Edgar Mitchell. There's a peer project from the Princeton University. They are doing investigations into the possible influence of human consciousness on processes. And there's another one in the Monroe Institute. It's about psychokinesis. And they are investigating effects on throwing on dice throwing results. So what are the effects of thoughts on dice throwing results? And what we can see is there's many investigations ongoing, but science is still in its infancy regarding this topic. Nevertheless, I'm sure we will get there over the next years and centuries to come. Now, let's have a look from the Spiritist teaching point of view. And again, I would like to start with some basics first. So, When we look at the Spiritist teaching, human being, the holistic human is being defined by three elements. First of all, it's the soul, and the soul or the spirit, and we can use spirit and soul as a synonym here. We talk normally about a soul as incarnated spirit, and the soul is the intelligent principle of the universe. It's the host of the thought, the free will, and the moral development. So the attributes of the spirits are immortality, individuality, thinking and reason, and conscience. And basically, we can also say that the spirit, that's us. And while we are incarnated, we are in a body. The spirit is sitting in a body, in a material body. And in between, to bridge from this immaterial spirit towards the material body, there is the fluidic envelope, which we call perispirit. And together, all of this is making up the human being. And when we die once, then the body will disappear, but the spirit will continue to live. And as said before, the spirit is immortal, so we will continue living, we will continue also developing. Now, important is thinking is the soul's power. And in question 89 of the Spirits book of Allan Kardec, the spirits tell us that wherever the thought is, there the soul is, since it is the soul that thinks. Thought is an attribute. And if we look at a quote from Divaldo Franco, he says, thinking is dynamic energy in continuous motion. Dynamic energy because we are continuously thinking. And continuous motion basically means, we are not thinking constantly the same. We are constantly changing and we have constantly different emotions. And this is this dynamic energy and motions. So when we go back to the spirit, we can say the spirit is like a generator of energy and of light. And the spirit doesn't have arms and legs. So when it wants the body to move, to act, the spirit uses thinking, willpower, and feelings. And the vibrational level of this energy, which is created by the spirit, the vibrational level, the quality, and the brightness of this energy, this is defined by our feelings. It's representing our psychological state, if you like. And the intensity defines the willpower and the trust. So again, the spirit is a thinking element, and when it thinks and when it creates feelings, then it creates this vibration, and the vibrational level you can see here is defining the level of the energy and the quality. And this gives us already a hint when we talk about our journey into the light, because when you put purest love in your emotion, when you have very positive thinking, then you are creating such a light as shown here on the top. While when you are very negative, when you are hatred, then you are creating an energy which is vibrating on this very low level. But we will come further to this. Let me quote Joanna de Angeli. Joanna de Angeli says, the spirit is a dynamo of energy that is difficult to calibrate, and that automatically radiates according to its emotional content. And difficult to calibrate means that it's very difficult for us to control our thoughts and to control our feelings, but we can learn that. Joanna de Angeli continues, as the externality of the spirit, it is interpreted by the brain, which transforms it into an idea. So this energy created by the spirit is interpreted by the brain. As such, it becomes a vehicle for communication of various kinds. It is a radiation force whose rate of vibration is determined by the sender's feelings. Now, some further basics. It's important to understand we are not alone. And when I say we are not alone, I mean we, the incarnate human beings on earth, we are not alone. There are spirits all around us. Well, when we look into the Spirit's book, we learn that all souls, all spirits have been created as ignorant spirits and are evolving towards perfection. So in the beginning, we know nothing, we have no understanding, and we are evolving and evolving towards perfection. The path goes from the instinctive to the development of the intellect, the reason, and the humanity up to being and becoming an angel. And the Spirit's book, question 100 and the following question, they show us that basically there are two drivers of the development, the moral development and the intellectual development. And the Spirit's book describes three main categories of steps. The lowest one is the imperfect spirits, with a predominant influence of matter over spirit. Then there are the good spirits, where there is a predominance of spirit over matter. And last not least, the pure spirits, where there's no influence of matter at all. Well, and when you ask yourself, where are we on earth? Well, we are certainly here on this lowest category at the moment, because clearly matter predominates. When we look at the spiritual environment, and here I mean the spirits around us as incarnates, so there are many spirits around us. There are good spirits, and they help us in our development by taking our free will into account. So they will not force us. And we know everyone has a guardian spirit, a friend, a loving friend who guides and helps. And again, high order spirits incarnate on earth to show mankind the way, to show us how to develop, how to evolve. But there are also imperfect spirits, so who are not developed at all or only uh, with a very low development. They are basically feeding off our low mental vibrations generated through negative emotions. And just a very basic picture here when you look at the earth. So there's humans on earth, and then closely to the earth, you have these imperfect spirits, which are colored here in dark and gray. Then you have different spheres around the earth where you have the good spirits, and where when we disincarnate, where we move to on different spheres depending on our level of development and the next steps of education. And then shown here in yellow, these are the highly developed or evolved spirits, and they help us, they guide us, they support us in order to develop mankind, to develop the spirits, to develop earth. And knowing this, the question is, so what are the spirits I'm dealing with on a day-to-day business? And well, It's important to understand my thoughts and my feelings determine at which level I vibrate. And in order to communicate with our spiritual friends, we need to vibrate at an appropriate level. And so we can connect to them in thoughts and feelings. This is a law of affinity. So this is like a radio. So if our feelings are very positive, so we are tuning in to very high vibrations to the good spirits. But if we are in hatred, if we are in a very bad mood, we are tuning in to the dark spirits. This is like the low frequency on the radio again. And it's important to understand this because we are being influenced, which means that these spirits, they are boosting our feelings, our level of vibration, if you like. So if we are in negative feelings, we get connected with less developed spirits, with spirits who have bad emotions, and this will enforce, this will boost our negative feelings and turn us further down, if you like, while the opposite is happening on the top. So the question is then, at what level do I vibrate? And yeah, the influence of our mental energies. So when we look during a typical day, well, we are generating sometimes good thoughts, good feelings, bad thoughts, bad feelings. And we understand our thoughts generate these mental energies. And these energies have an effect, first of all, on ourselves, because it's created by the spirit and it will touch every cell of our body. It will also influence other people because they are receiving their spirits, their parasprits, they will receive our mental energy, although we are not really conscious about that. Then the spiritual world will receive uh, these energies, well, and also nature, the environment will receive these energies, and there are effects also on nature and on the environment. At the same time, we are receiving thoughts and mental energies, not only from spirits, but also from other incarnates. Important again, we are responsible for our thoughts and their effects. So we are also responsible for our dark pollutants. So if we watch ourselves on a typical day, and I've made here some kind of a feeling curve for a 24 hours day. And the question each of us should ask himself is, am I really in balance? And when you look at this graph, consider that here on the top, you have positive feelings. You are serene, you are confident, positive, loving, compassionate, optimistic, helpful, nature loving. And down below here, well, there are the negative thoughts and feelings. You are restless, you are anxious, negative, loveless, cold, without any pity, pessimistic, selfish, materialistic. Well, I'm sure many of you have a similar curve like this. And let's take an example. Let's have somebody, she wakes up in the morning, had a good, nice sleep. So she feels it's really a nice morning. So she is in a happy mood, positive feelings here, positive thoughts, positive energy. But then, well, she is married and she has kids, and well, it's trouble in the morning because the children don't want to go up again, and she gets annoyed. So the emotions are getting down, the thoughts are getting down. Then, well, children are at school, so she can take a walk into the woods, into nature. So she again calms down, gets happy, positive energies. Then she just comes back and she sees that her neighbor is blocking her exit, so she can't get out the car. So she gets angry again. Then lunch with a good friend, good mood. In the afternoon, she takes a drive through the city and there's heavy traffic, so she gets in bad mood again. At dinner with family, then everything's fine, but then she watches the news and the latest about the corona crisis, so she gets anxious. Well, then there's a nice romantic movie, so things are getting better. But then again, she goes to bed and then she has a debate with her partner before she can sleep. So yeah, so this is a typical curve of many, and many of us don't really care about our emotions, and we should care. It's important for us, for our health, and it's also important for the energy we are creating, for the thoughts we are creating. So when we look at the psychosphere of the earth, well, let's have a look there. Many people's thoughts and moods are like a yo-yo, positive thoughts, negative thoughts. And when we sum up all the thoughts of all the humans on earth, we can talk about the earth's psychosphere. And I can assure you that the earth's psychosphere is currently very negative, because there's so much fear, there's so much conflicts, politics, ego, the law of the strongest, materialistic thinking, corona refugees. So for sure, the pollutant looks like this. And let me give you a quote from Andre Lewis from a book which was psychographed. And Andre Lewis explains from the spiritual world the view on the earth. And it was during the time of the Second World War, where he explains us people who only deal with the war in thoughts or through utterances, or those who represent ideologies, others who others who in turn fight them. No one can escape the vibrations of war. Few people can maintain higher spiritual values in times of war. And so it is not surprising that people, as a result of their inattention, generate mental pollutants that intensify the dark clouds above the Earth's surface and develop these destructive storms. And he continues, our devoted brothers, these are good spirits, others who are helping the humans, must work hard to prevent severe magnetic storms, which are hidden from the human eye, from discharging as deadly vibrations over humanity, which could lead to the misery of war and plagues spread out endlessly. So these magnetic storms created by the dark pollutants, by the dark mental thinking, can create the misery of war or plagues. And when we look at the corona plague, we are exactly there. So here we have one of the reasons for corona. So what do we need to learn from this? Well, we need to learn to get a grip on our inner world of thoughts and feelings. And we want at the end to only be on this high level of vibration. We don't want to create dark thoughts, only positive thoughts. That should be the goal. We need to learn to develop a positive psyche, loving, calm, resting in us, because we want to communicate with our good, dear friends on the spiritual world. We need to vibrate positively, radiate positive energies in order to have the earth with very nice mental energy surrounded, because it will help nature, it will help everyone. So let's start with ourselves, work on us, and then we support others on their way. But how can we do that? Now here's my recipe. Here's my recipe. Well, first of all, we need to resolve our imperfections. Then we need to improve our values. And then we need to search for meaning and life's mission. Why are we here? Let's be self-determined and responsible and view ourselves from a higher perspective. And last but not least, we should expand and spiritualize consciousness. And we will go through these now point by point. Let's start with a psychological view. When we look at ourselves, there's first of all our I consciousness or the ego. It is the knowledge of the individual about his identity. Then we have what we call a persona. This is sort of the outwardly shown attitude of a person. Some people talk also about the theater mask, and we play different roles in different situations, like at work, at home, with friends. And then we have the unconscious, and it refers to an area of the human psyche that is not directly accessible to consciousness, but is underlying it. And we can say that this is sort of the inner world, while the ego and the persona is the outer world. Now, the shadow of a person contains what it opposes, what opposes his positive self image and his persona. And the shadow, we can also say these are our imperfections. Well, and our ego acts like a doorman. Everything that becomes conscious goes through the ego. So every thought, every situation, everyone who annoys us, we have that within us. It comes from our shadows, from our imperfections. And our ego tries to suppress these shadows. But our job is actually to look at them, to acknowledge that they belong to us and are part of us. So we can integrate and dissolve them point by point. And another quote from Joanna de Angeli, she says, "It is not about being against the imperfections, although we don't like them." So it's not about the imperfections, the inner shadows. It's about identifying them, becoming aware of their existence, and seeing them as part of our lives. And when we do that, we can start integrating them. There's a quote we have basically received in our mediumistic work about light and shadow, which fits very well here. It says, "Light is a composition of all our positive, beautiful, and sublime characteristics. These come from all the tests passed in our lives. In contrast, our shadows represent our character traits that are still in the making. We are all souls on the path to enlightenment. We have all been created equal. We all had the same start. The paths are different, depending on how quickly one has understood and internalized one or another point. Time is infinite, and God is merciful and patient. Whenever we discover and accept a dark point within us, we can change it. This is important. Point by point, we can remove the impurities, or better, the undeveloped points in our souls, and understand why this step of development has to be taken to bring them to enlightenment. Greed, egoism, hate, certain desires are, among others, nothing else but underdeveloped points in our souls. When we are ready, they create space and transform into love, humility, love of neighbor, into the light. So, this is about addressing the imperfections. Let's continue with basics for our journey. Our values. We understood we are immortal spirits who often reincarnate on earth to have experiences, to grow morally and intellectually, and that is the overall goal. The moral wisdom is already implanted in our conscience. The further we move away from it, the worse off we are, the darker we vibrate. The more we develop in this direction, the happier we become, the higher we vibrate. And these are our values. And a good source for that is Alan Kardec's books. And the moral law you can find in the Spirit's book, part number 3, or the third part. The application is described well in the Gospel according to Spiritism. And let me quote the Gospel here, chapter 13.9. When we love each other, we do for the others what we want them to do for us. All religions, all morals are based on these two principles. If they were followed in this world, we would all be perfect. So there is a very clear guidance. Let's come to the next, to the fate and the free will. Well, God has given us a free will. So, so we may decide. We even have to decide. So we also bear the responsibility. And that's important. There are things that we have to accept in this life on earth. We call it strokes of fate, social conditions. So this shown here in this gray area, let's call it, it's a fateful area, things that I cannot really influence because it's there, because defined by the planning before this incarnation, because it's given by the matter of action and reaction, because of topics we've done in the past lives. These are simply things we have to accept. However, the message here is that such strokes of fate are often a wake up call for us to change. It can be suddenly that we suffer from an illness, from a disease. What we need to do in these cases, we need to concentrate on the areas that we can change, where we can act and make self-determined decisions. So we need to change our focus on the topics we can do, on the area where we have the freedom to develop, where we have the development potential. The next topic is our mission in life. Before we incarnated in this life, we have set ourselves goals. And this includes our family and our social environment. and it is about our further development. Our decisions and actions should be subject to these aspects. Whatever we do, ask ourselves, does it help my mental and moral development? What about my subjects? Does it help or harm my neighbor? And these should be the frame of any kind of decision. And then, we all know Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's all about self-realization and about sense orientation. If we meditate about these questions, if we follow these guidance, then we will find a lot of meaning in life. We will find answers to the questions, why am I here? Then I have a toolkit for you for the journey. And I would start with expanding your awareness. Look at yourself from a higher perspective. This is a means which helps me watching myself, trying to investigate why have I reacted in this way? Why have I felt like I have? Why have I these negative thoughts? We really monitor and watch ourselves from a bird perspective. This will help us. And then we will recognize the automatism of our egos and we can work on the bad habits. So we can recognize our egoisms, our drives, the want to strike back immediately mentality, the want to be bigger, stronger, better, more beautiful than others, to worry about what others might think, and so on. Ask yourself, why am I reacting and feeling like this? Which inner shadows do I still have? So, in order to live well and to develop properly, a thorough self analysis is essential. In this way, we can face the challenges of life and find suitable solutions. And if we make it to a practice to do this analysis every evening, maybe just before you go to bed, then you watch back, you take a view on what happened during the day. How did I react? How were my feelings? What did I do? This will help changing, understanding, recognizing yourself, and then step by step, uh, yeah, changing yourself. Second tool is renounce the daily bombardment of bad energies. So let's reduce mental let's reduce the news consumption. Let's forego violent videos, TV, literature, everything what is violent. Instead, read positive literature consciously. Go out into nature regularly, be mindful and consciously enjoy the creation. And enjoy cultural activities like music, paintings. Another tool is meditation. Meditation is one of the best way to aid self-analysis. Meditation helps to structure our thoughts and bring them under control. It helps to control our emotions, to activate the inner powers and healing effects. If we compare our soul with a lake, then the thoughts can be seen as a spray on top, the restless water. If you succeed in bringing the surface to rest through meditation, we can look into it, expand our consciousness, and open ourselves to spiritual impulses. Well, and last but not least, prayer. Prayer is the greatest power we know. Prayer is an inner sincere dialogue with God or with the highest spiritual being. It is thought transmission. It is an impulse generated by our will, by our spirit, which reaches the receiver directly. This is instantaneously. And it is a means to communicate between the spirits as well as between incarnate and discarnate. And let me again quote the Gospel according to Spiritism, chapter 27. Through prayer, man receives the help of good spirits who support him in his good decisions and inspire him to good thoughts. Man thus receives the necessary strength to overcome his difficulties. So, as said before, we are not alone. There are good spirits, there's our Godfather. There are many spirits helping us. We just need to get in touch with them and ask them, give us some guidance. They will not do the things for us, they will not decide for us. It's our responsibility, our free will. But they will help us, they will guide us, give us good inspirations. And one more topic is let us commit ourselves to the good, practice charity. Again, a quote from the Gospel: Be kind and merciful. That is the key of heaven, which you have in your hands. All eternal happiness is contained in this saying: Love one another. The soul cannot be lifted up into the spiritual world except through devotion to one's neighbor, and it finds joy and consolation in the exercise of charity. So if you help someone and this really receives the help and you see him becoming happy because of your help, there are wonderful vibrations created by the one you are helping and created by your inner soul. And these vibrations bring you to light, bring you to shine. This is the effect. Well, so with this one, let's come to the destination. Each one, each and every one of us has immeasurable potential. The faculties of our spirit, of us, of our soul are immeasurable. When Jesus said, I assure you, if you believe firmly and do not doubt, you can do such things and much more than that. You can even say to this mountain, lift yourself up and throw yourself into the sea, and it will come to pass. And with this quote, he wanted to give us the understanding how powerful we are, how powerful the faculties of our spirit are. So the further we grow morally and intellectually, the stronger our love for other people, the stronger our spiritual capabilities. And this picture gives an imagination about this strong, powerful ability we have in us. And we need to understand, all of us, we are loved unconditionally in our uniqueness. We are still in the infancy of our development, but God already sees us, sees in us the perfect beings that we will one day be. So we need to trust on us as well. God does it, the good spirits do it as well. So back to our journey. Well, you've seen starting point and destination are within us. And the journey is our inner transformation. And this inner transformation is not something you do overnight. This is something you will do throughout the whole life. But it's important to start this journey. And the further we will go, the further we will shine. And the more we do, the stronger the impact onto the world. So we build the world we want to live in. Very often, spiritual mentors have advised us to seek inner balance in order to make a positive contribution to the harmony of our community, society, and the world. And with this one, I'm at the end. Many thanks.
Thank you so much, Ingo. It's really a very rich journey that you've taken us onto. I'll just remove this from here. Okay, that worked. Thank you so much. This is such
Thank
a topic.
you.
Yeah, that I think is very important for all of us, and we all of us who are participating, I think we all appreciated all the insight you've shared and the recipe you have given to us, which really shows what responsibilities we all have.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're very welcome. I must admit, I worked quite some months on that. And I worked on different topics. And then I thought, well, you need to bring that sort of to a presentation in order to communicate that to others as well. And yeah, I think it's a lot of material, a lot of insights, but I hope the main messages came across.
I'm sure it has, and to me, it's like one of those really rich books that you read, and then the next time you read it again, and you discover new details, and you read it again some months after that, or years even, and there will be new details that will help us. And I just share some of the comments that our friends who have been with us sent in. Danny, for example, loved your recipe as well.
Thanks a lot, Daniel.
The comparison, that you made, that meditation office regarding the lake and the spray. So it's really, really helpful. And I put him here again. So really, that's very helpful for all of us. And and Fabio also is with us. Thanks for sharing the beautiful gift with us. It's really a great gift. You said he gave us in a second comment, but it's really a great gift because I think, especially at this moment, many of us are really struggling a bit with the whole situation, but also with all the challenges we face in our personal lives, whatever they may be.
Yeah, and I think especially the current crisis gives many of us time to think, time to sit back, because we need to reduce our contacts, we need to reduce going outside. So there is time for reflection. And this at least helps me to rethink, am I on the right path? Am I doing the right thing? What might be the goal of this life? Because for sure, before I incarnated, I have signed up to my goals. But then, well, you don't remember this, obviously. And then the question is really, am I on the right track or not? And I think these topics I've listed down, this is also really my thinking and my process, and where I'm trying to navigate, if you like, in the same way, and it helps me sort of. And yeah, and I must say the Spiritist teaching has helped me starting this journey, this inner transformation. And it's really a very good lecture, a very good, let's say, cookbook, if you like. And I must also admit, it really takes years to understand the basics. And when you go back to the same phrase again and again, you get different insights, because when you have done the next steps and then you read the very same, then you first start understanding further, deeper meaning, which you haven't understood by reading the first time, and so on. And this happens continuously.
Absolutely, it's the same in my case, and I think all of us who are studying these teachings. And what I also really loved is how much importance he gave to our own responsibility to our thoughts, the impact of our thoughts, of our emotions, and how we are responsible for the spirits that accompany us.
Yeah, and so often we don't really know what we are doing. But
Yeah.
we have so much impact, but we don't know. People are not aware. And I think we have to make them aware at least. And at least we have understood. So, and I think many have understood and many are teaching, but we need to further explain people to become also aware of that impact. And I think this quote from Andre Lewis from The Messengers, this is an excellent example because he quotes really plagues might come and well,
And here they are. Yeah.
yes.
And it's also very, very helpful to understand well, first of all, the situation of the existence of the psychosphere of our Earth and how we all contribute to its character. And I imagine at this moment where really many people face difficult situations, as you showed with the clouds around the Earth, it's really difficult, but we need to be aware of that and try to contribute.
Yeah, but we can also positively contribute if we meditate, if we pray, and if we maybe pray together in groups for then we are like a light in the dark. In the same book, Andre Lewis explains about a situation where they saw from the earth everything was with dark pollution and they saw one strong light coming out of that, and then he was going down onto it trying to identify where's it coming from, and then he landed sort of in I think it was Bristol in the church, and in the church there were people singing while outside there was the war, there were flying airlines with bombs, and the people were singing and they were creating from the spiritual point of view visible this strong light, really a strong light. And this is so impressive. This is what prayer is doing.
Mm. It's so important, as you said, especially in those times when what I also find impressive is how the gospel, according to Spiritism, explains us the mechanics of prayer and how we can really make a difference through it.
Yeah.
Even if that would be the only thing we could do at this stage to help somehow. I think it's really, really good to study about that. That's very helpful.
Right, but we will get there step by step. Everything is natural. We shouldn't worry too much as well. Be positive.
Absolutely. Exactly. But that's really good to talk about these topics, to exchange and to share the studies that you've done on this topic. That's really, really nice. And also this evening we had our dear friend Charles with us.
Oh, hi. Hello, Charles. Good evening.
Happy to have you here.
Bonsoir.
Exactly. So we're really another positive effect of the Corona crisis that we're coming together online, and so you can not only join us directly from Munich, but we also have Charles from France
Yeah,
participating here in Brussels. We have Alice. Whoops, here she is.
Ah, hello,
Joining us.
Alice.
And Danielle, very happy that you have been visiting us in this virtual way, and who knows, one day it would be possible to have you here in person as well.
Sure.
That would be very nice.
Looking forward to that.
So do we. Okay, yeah. Don't have enough words to thank you for taking the time on this Tuesday evening to join us and to really share these very, very helpful details with all of us that can really help us.
My pleasure. My pleasure, and all the best for your group.
Thank you so much. Yeah, please. And but before we say goodbye, we still will do our final prayer, and I have to apologize. We usually also pray before we start our activities. Just today, I was so keen on getting onto this journey into the light with Ingo that I forgot that in the beginning. But we will do our final prayer still, and hopefully we will still have a minute. So thank you so much, Ingo. And before we say really goodbye, let's take these positive vibrations and pray together. Thank for these moments. So I invite all who are connected to us to join our prayer and to thank God for these moments that we could spend together, for all the rich teachings and experiences that our dear friend Ingo shared with us. May they and the recipes that we received help us on our journey. May they help us to, especially in difficult moments, remember our reality as being immortal spirits on a journey to perfection, but who are still in a very imperfect situation, going through necessary learning experiences. May we share these vibrations of fraternal love, of harmony with all around us, and send them especially to all those who are going through difficult moments at this stage. And asking God to help all who are in need of light, hope, and consolation. Thanking once again for all the blessings we received this evening. So be it. So thanks again, Ingo. Thanks for joining us. Please send our best regards both to your family and to all our friends in Munich.
Thank you.
And yeah, hope to see you soon again, either on this channel or live. And thanks to everyone who joined us this evening. So take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.